there, I'm Kerry. Today we're going to do a little bit of a yoga practice for doing beach-like sports, so water sports. I've been doing quite a few of that here at the lake. I'm at Kootenay Lake, I'm at my friend's place, and noticing the effects of doing a lot of water sports on my body, especially up on my shoulders. So we're going to take it easy on the shoulders, a little bit of stretching for the shoulders, a little bit of stretching and balancing for the legs, especially those quads. So we'll start off in a seated practice, a seated meditation. So come on down to the ground, either kneeling or cross-legged position, and we'll just take in some of the sounds around us. Starting to settle into your breath. Many sports and activities are fairly fast-paced, so letting your yoga practice be a time to slow down, to tune in. And take a nice big deep breath in and exhale it out the mouth. One more time, let the shoulders go as well. Inhale, let the shoulders lift up. And exhale, let the shoulders lower down. Last time, inhale, lift the shoulders. And exhale, release. Release your arms by your sides. Inhale, float the arms up. Little look up if that feels good. Exhale your hands back down. And two more times, nice and slow. Starting to warm up the joints. And pausing here for a few breaths, thumbs resting onto your chest. And clasping your hands and press out in front, but keep the elbows slightly bent if it aggravates your shoulder at all. From here, round your back, drop your head, ears between your arms. And feel as though your palms are pressing forward and your back is pressing towards the back. As you inhale, lift through the lower back, mid-back, all the way up. A little bend in the elbows if it's a bit achy for your arms to be straight. And start to think of your shoulder blades sliding down the back of your body. And let that action move the outer edges of your armpits forward. From there, let the arms slowly lengthen. One more breath. And exhale, releasing your arms back down. From here, a little bit of a stretch for the neck. Dropping your head to the right side. And think about lengthening through the left, so your left ear moving away from the left shoulder. And then let's bring the shoulders back, so take your arms back, either touching the ground back behind you, or if you like, resting them on your hips. Bringing your head back up. Pause here for a breath. And letting your head drop to the other side. Watch that you're not turning the head at all, so watch that your nose isn't tipping down or up. And being cautious that you're not squishing the left side of your neck at all. So right ear is moving away from the right shoulder's rolling back. And bringing your head back up, hands resting on your lap, this time dropping your chin down. Rolling your shoulders back, and then feel like the back of your head is lifting towards the ceiling without letting your chin lift up. And there, slowly roll your head up. Let your chin be level with the ground. And pause here for a few breaths. And from here, let's get into the quads a little bit more. Come up to your knees. You might need some padding under your knees. And tuck your toes. Back behind you. From here, taking your hands to your hips. And we're looking for a neutral pelvis, which is always a bit of an elusive term. So think about the pubic bone being perpendicular to the ground. So right up and down. And when you have your hands on your hips, the right and left side feel level. From there, slide your hands back behind you, thumbs onto your sacrum. And then start to gently use your thumbs to press in towards the sacrum and down. So you're just creating this slight drawing down action, lengthening your lower back. Keep that as you slide your shoulder blades together, lifting through your chest. Taking one more breath here in this gentle back bend. Don't make it more than it needs to be. Nice and easy. And then bringing yourself back to center, releasing your feet, sit back onto your heels and come down into child's pose. Rolling yourself up, let's take our camel pose one more time, hands onto your hips, rolling the shoulders back, lift to the chest. So your chest is lifting up, hip points lifting up, and your hips slightly drawing forward, getting into the quads a bit. And either stay here or start to take your hands down to your heels. Continue to roll your shoulders back, lift through the chest, and let your head feel light. And again, gently coming back up, releasing your feet, and back down into child's pose. From here, coming up to all fours. And let's take a few rounds of cat pose. So connecting your breath and movement, inhale, gentle arch in the back, and exhale, rounding your back. So continuing this back bend, forward bend sequence to create balance through the spine. Inhale, and exhale. A couple more rounds, slow it down, smooth it out. And then pause here, pressing your back up towards the ceiling, drop your head, look up to your belly button, and broaden your shoulder blades. From here, come to your fingertips, and then stepping your right foot up between your hands. Take your hands to your leg, and then to your hips. Same action as in camel pose, lifting the hip points up, sacrum draws down, and your balance on the right and left side of your hips. From here, slide your hands back behind you, roll your shoulders back, lift through the chest. And then let's add the arms, open up the arms, palms up. Take the arm bones back and sweep them up and overhead. One more breath here. As you exhale, take your hands down to the ground, just your spider fingers, just your fingertips, so that you're not putting a lot of weight on your shoulders. Stretch your front leg out, Ardha Hanumasana. Toes can lift up to the ceiling if that's a bit intense. Keep the foot flat, but think of the sits bones lifting up and drawing back. And then watch that your outer hip isn't popping out. Hug it in towards the midline. Drop your nose down towards your knee. And then step on the front foot. This time bring your hips forward. But keep the front knee and ankle lined up. And again, you're still in your spider fingers. Roll the shoulders back, chest forward. And from here, getting a little bit deeper into the back quad, so coming up to your forearm on the front leg. And then starting to lift the back leg up, making contact if that's available. Rolling your left shoulder back, open through the chest. Continue to lift through the hip points. Watch that you're not dumping. Keep your chest rising up. And if it feels good in your body, take hold with both hands, rolling both shoulders back, opening through the chest. With gentleness and grace, releasing your leg, stretching it up into a high lunge. And then stepping your back foot to meet your front foot, taking forward fold. From here, let's roll up nice and slowly. Rolling to the top. Rolling your arm bones back, palms open. Pause here for a few breaths. Noticing the different sensations on the right leg, the left leg. Then we'll take 3 standing vinyasa flows here. Inhale and reach it up. Exhale, fold down. Hands coming to your shins. Inhale, coming halfway up. And exhale and release. Inhaling back up to standing, reaching out and up. Little baby back bend. And exhaling your hands to your heart. 2 more times, connecting breath and movement, creating that sense of flow that goes so nicely with the water around me. Inhaling back to the top. And exhaling your hands down. Last one. Pausing at the top, settling your breath. And transitioning back to the top of your mat to do the same leg sequence on the other side. Reaching up. And exhale, fold down. It's holding here for a couple breaths. Bend the knees if you like. I find, especially in the morning, I'm quite stiff. Dropping your head. And And then using your spider fingers as a bit of support, stepping your right leg back into a high lunge. Just pause here. Think of your chest going forward. Think of your right heel pressing back. And then dropping your back knee down, lifting your torso up, hands come up to your front leg. Taking your hands to your hips. And think of that pose we did earlier, that camel pose. So we're looking to stack the hip and the knee, creating a 90-degree angle on the back leg and the front leg. And then from there, think of the hip points lifting, but keep the pubic bone perpendicular to the ground. So there's two actions happening. Structurally, we want the pubic bone perpendicular for a neutral pelvis, and then start to activate the core muscles by gently lifting the hip points up and tailbone drawing down. So very subtle, very little actions, very effective for stability. From there, sliding your fingers, your thumbs back. Feel your shoulder blades slide together and let that action roll the shoulders back, lifting the chest. Releasing your arms, but keep that stability in through the spine. Take your arms bone back, and then reaching them up. Nice and slowly hinge your hips back. Let your fingertips touch the ground for support. And taking a stretch for that front leg. Watch that you're not going too far. The hamstrings are a really tight muscle. So we're hugging the outer hip in, sits bones moving back, chest moving forward. A couple more breaths here. As you can hear, there's lots of construction happening around here. If it feels good in your body, drop the head, nose towards your knee, but keep the chest drawing forward. Watch that you don't start to compromise your alignment in the spine. Flatten your front foot, bringing your hips forward, but watch that the knee doesn't go over your ankle, so we're still keeping that nice alignment in the front leg. And sometimes the tendency is to start to dump into this hip. You actually want to keep your right thigh and hip feeling buoyant, like it's moving back. And then bending a bit more in the front knee to get into that hip crease. Now let's lift up, keep those hip points lifting, and then start to bring the back leg up so we're getting a little bit juicier into that back quad. If you like, reach back for your foot. Keep the shoulder rolled back, but your entire torso facing forward. Lift through the chest. Keeping your front leg stable by pressing the inside edge of your foot down. Keep those hip points lifting. If you like, hold with both hands. Releasing nice and slowly, setting your hands down, and then back into your high lunge. And then taking downward dog, but nice easy downward dog if you're feeling your shoulders a little bit tight or sore today. Pedaling your feet a little bit. And then as your heels reach back, think of your sits bones lifting up and back, lengthening your spine. Walking your feet up to your hands, taking your time. And this time, let's take the feet a little wider, so about as wide as the mat. Holding on to the opposite elbow and let yourself hang. I like to sway or swing a little. Go ahead if that feels good. Taking your hands back down, roll the shoulders back and away from your ears, drop your head. slowly rolling yourself up. Take your time. Coming to the top, let your palms open up. Pause here. There's a lot of balance involved in taking part in water sports. My favorite sport right now being stand-up paddleboarding. So we're going to work a little bit of balance here, going into tree pose. So setting yourself up with your hands onto your hips again. Same action we've been doing throughout the practice today. Hands on the hips, slide your hands back, thumbs onto your sacrum, roll the shoulders back. From here, start to lift your left leg. And let's just pause here, knee facing forward. Right away, watch how the outer hip wants to pop out, hug it in. And notice if the left hip lifted at all when the leg lifted. Keep it level. From there, opening your leg up without letting the right hip go along for the ride, so keep it back. And start to feel that left knee drop open. Foot can stay on the calf, or if it feels good in your body, take it up to the upper thigh bone. One's not better than the other, just a way for you to explore the range in your hips. And then something a little different. Clasp your hands behind your back, roll the shoulders back, open through the chest. Take a nice big deep breath in, exhale it out the mouth. Release the arms, sweep them up. They can stay wide or connect together in Vipassana hands if that feels good.